Why did the U of A win? Well, U of A won because they scored 85 points and Texas Tech scored 57 points. Um, it was a close game right in the beginning. Texas Tech has a defense that is in your face. They are in your pocket. They're everywhere. That's why they have so many steals. They have a great great percentage, I think they have the most steals out of any um, NCAA team this season. But they didn't beat us in steals. We ended up with 9 steals, I think, and they ended up with 7 steals. So we beat them on that because I think that they usually get about 12 steals a game. They're averaging about 12 steals a game, and they've had Texas Tech had a record of 4-0, and Arizona, the Wildcats had a record of 4-0 going into this game. But it didn't turn out for Texas Tech because, like I said, they're extremely aggressive and they're just in your face all the time. Our guys had to really pay attention to their passes and really be careful and really know what the heck they were doing. Whenever they were passing, there could be no lagging or no downtime whenever making passes, trying to make passes to the U of A other U of A teammates. But anyway, we beat them on the steals thing, and I thought that after a few minutes or maybe by halftime that I thought Texas Tech would wear down and they would quit trying to pester us and agitate us and quit trying to steal the ball. But they pretty much fought pretty closely all the way down to the end, except I think whenever they threw in their second string or their bench, then whenever Texas Tech threw in their bench, then I think that the steals weren't so the agitation or the irritation to the aggressiveness on the defense to the U of A against the U of A was not as bad. Um, but anyway, Tarzuski, 13 rebounds, man. He felt comfortable in this game. They had a 6'11" guy, but I think that the 6'11" guy was a freshman or something. Uh, I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe he was a senior. I'm not sure. So maybe he had that veteran experience. But just Tarzuski, just he felt really comfortable in Lubbock, Texas, playing against Texas Tech. And so he ended up with 10 defensive rebounds and 3 offensive rebounds. I always look at the amount of offensive rebounds. I think that that's more telling. The other one that got 3 offensive rebounds was Kevin Parham. And whenever you have more offensive rebounds than than the average, because there wasn't a lot of people that got a whole lot of offensive rebounds. Most of them got only one, or no offensive rebounds whatsoever, except for Caleb Starzyski and Kevin Parham. Um, and speaking of that, Solomon Hill, he didn't get any offensive rebounds, but he ended up with 4 defensive rebounds. So, and his contribution was again not really shown on the court. Didn't show up too much on the court. He wasn't starring. He wasn't flashing, or he wasn't sticking out or anything like that. He ended up with 14 points, which is not big. And like I said, Caleb Starzyski got 13 rebounds, but he only ended up with 6 points. So go figure. Um, but Nick Johnson, wow, man, 2 for 3 from 3-point land, and of course the one that he missed, and that was the 3-pointer that I saw. The other 3-pointers, of course, I didn't see, but still, he had a really, really nice game. He ended up with 18 points in total. Let's see. Yeah, so there was eight of his 11 shots were not behind the arc, which is kind of unusual for Nick Johnson. He usually shoots the 3-pointers and that's about it, or you way out there, from the guard position, way out behind the arc. But anyway, I know it's really hard for our guys to get motivated because, the last 4 games they played, they have pretty much dominated and tore up the other teams, beating them by 20 points at least, pretty much all of them. And it was like the first half might have been kind of close, but then the second half they just ran away with the U of A just kind of ran away with it with the win, and it got ugly at the end usually. And speaking of ugly, Max Whoop King came in as a bench player in the end, and he usually knocks down a 3-pointer, and he took a 3-pointer, but it didn't go in. So I think that's the symbol. Whenever he makes the 3-pointer, then that kind of closes off the game, and we can all kind of take a sigh of relief. Although it was pretty much in hand. I mean, I think we had 40-point lead or close to it at one time or another. We ended up winning by, what was it, 28 points. So, but I really think, and like I said, it's just really hard for our guys to keep motivated, but I really wish that they would, because the big one is coming up, the big game against Florida, and Florida is not any pushover. They're gonna be tough, and I know that it's not good to look too far in the future, because I think our next game is against Southern Carolina, or I don't know, some other team that has got a pretty decent record, but still, we should be watching out. We should always keep our eye on Florida, because we don't want to lose to Florida like Texas Tech lost to us today. Texas Tech, like I said, had a 4-0 record, and they were pretty much taking care of business. But then we came out. Then the U of A Wildcats came out, and we just tore Texas Tech up. So we just kind of humbled them big time. Told them to eat their medicine, and we left. So anyway, we should really keep an eye on Florida, and I just really hope that our guys keep motivated and keep on fighting the fight, because we need to be as much prepared as we can whenever we play against Florida, and that would be pretty cool. So it was a nice win. U of A wins 85. Texas Tech 57.